I go first, I guess. I I initially wanted to work at OA just because I wanted to get more into climbing, but like the thing I liked most about OA was just like the the community that was like part of it. That you can always find like people on campus that you can like that you like knew from either like how like leading trips with or being on shift with, and like another thing was that like it just gave you a place on campus where you can always just like feel like it just feels like home. Like if I had nothing to do on maybe like a Friday afternoon, I would just hop over the wall and there would always be someone, whether it be on the staff or like climbing, that I always just knew. And it just made me feel like there was just like a smaller community where I felt really welcome.
I was gonna say the exact same thing as Jeff, and I came into OA without any experience, so I was one of those people who didn't like I knew how to belay and that was it, just because I climbed at the wall. But yeah, I my favorite part of it is the community for all of the reasons Jeff was saying. Like there's always someone there that you know, whether it's like one of your coworkers or just people you know from climbing there. Um, we're always doing silly things like crosswords behind the desk and various bonding things. And like Chris was saying, he said he hopes that we're all hanging out outside of Duke, and we are indeed. I see Jeff and Liz and Jose all the time, usually at TRC, but we found another place to like congregate that involved climbing. But yeah, it's definitely the people that are my favorite part of OA. And the route setting was great, but I really miss that.
Me too.
I enjoyed the trips because essentially you got to like go and do things. I'm getting called. Hold on. There we go. You essentially got to go and do things like basically for free. Like, right, you essentially you get to go on a trip and lead people and like get to show people things, but then also you're on the trip too. So like whenever I led the rock climbing trip, right, like I'd always be belaying people, but like it's also just such a nice time to like go and get out and like escape the Duke bubble and literally like you're getting paid to go on a trip. Um, I think another cool trip was like the beach trip that I led. I got paid to go and take people to the beach and then like show them how to surf and like relax. So I think definitely being a trip leader is really really cool just because you just also just get to explore North Carolina because like I would never have gone to the beach if I hadn't like gone on a big thing too on like this trip. So yeah.
Similar to Casey, like I came into OA with like very little experience. Like I started rock climbing my freshman year at Duke. I started getting more into like the outdoors my freshman year. And like I've never met like a community of people who have been just so open to teach people things and just like no matter you can ask like a ton of questions and everyone in OA is just so open and supportive and trying to help you like cultivate those skills and like become better. And yeah, I think like without OA, I definitely would not be able to go on the trips that I have. Just like it makes it so accessible because I'm working those trips, and also it's just super rewarding. Like I'm assuming people who want to work for OA really love the outdoors and just like sharing those skills and seeing people who aren't typically into the outdoors like fall in love with it is like absolutely amazing. Like I led the fall break backpacking trip and this random group of grad students decided to just do the backpacking trip for fun because they were all international students and couldn't go home. And they were like not outdoorsy people at all. And this was just like a spontaneous thing that they wanted to try. And just like to see them just like go all in and like enjoy learning how to like cook outdoors and like go walk like miles to like help us find water and just like enjoy backpacking and like fall in love with it just like how I fell in love with it was like a really amazing experience. And yeah, there's just like nothing like it and always like really amazing. Definitely probably one of the best choices that I made in college.
It was one of my favorite parts of college for sure.
Yeah, also like in my interview, I think Chris asked me like why did you apply to OA? And I was like, because Jose told me to. And like ever since then, like I don't know, the people have been a huge part of it, but also like the places that you do get to go, and not even that, like the places that people who you work with like tell you to go to. So even things that are beyond work, like learning how, or things that you're told to do for work, like learn how to do these like certain rope techniques for like setting up outdoor climbs. You go with your friends and they teach you how to do that, like on Pilot Mountain. And like that's not for work, but it's like really fun to do anyways. And like if COVID hadn't happened, I would have gone with Jeff to Utah and like led a rock climbing trip, which would have been so cool. But like, yeah, there were so many other opportunities like that that you can just 110% take. And I would say that like it was my favorite part of last year. So not just like a part of college for me, like massive part of it. And I'm really, I don't know, like TJ and Chris have been really good about setting up Zooms, especially during quarantine. And I would like look forward to those so much just because like I love talking to my coworkers.
Oh,
So.
awesome.
If you, yeah, just apply, like honestly, such an amazing experience.
Don't think you're not qualified, for sure.
Just be
Um,
enthusiastic.
And just, I think just like the willingness to learn and just like get to know your peers is like pretty much all you need. And yeah, I was really nervous, but my big and one of the clubs that I was in really like egged me on to apply for OA. And yeah, I don't know. I think it was like applying to OA, like for me was like came with a lot of hesitancies. And yeah, you shouldn't doubt applying. If you're like remotely interested, you should definitely apply.
Awesome.
My advice would probably be to like, if you're interested in something, like it's sort of off of what Megan says. Like if you're interested in something, like keep trying to go for it. Like it took me, I think, like 2 or 3 years to eventually become a route setter. And it's just because there were a lot of route setters at the time. But like definitely like just keep going. And like again, as Megan said, you don't really need a lot of experiences because like all you need is someone to teach you. And then like a lot of the growing happens when people sort of like give you feedback and help you grow in that. So and that's sort of like the best part is like not only do you like grow in sort of like this new skill, but also you learn like sort of soft skills like how to receive feedback, right? How to like take it and improve on something. And so I think a lot of this stuff is definitely a good takeaway, especially for the future.
You also get to meet a bunch of really cool graduate students who come and climb. And yeah, I would echo Jose, and like you keep learning. And so like I tried to learn how to set a route and Casey just trashed me, but like it was a really fun experience. And yeah, just like a lot of little things like that, even if it's like how to do a crossword puzzle within like X amount of time, and you feel very accomplished if you figure out a clue behind the desk. But there are like those little moments where you're just like with your coworkers and learning like on and off. So